Never wanted to work in an office for anybody else, so I worked in a couple of low-level entry jobs where I just had to do the job, which I was perfectly happy doing, and spent the next couple of springs and summers building that log cabin over there north of Lake Superior. Sold it in 72 to an American hunting fishing group and got money to start a business. So I moved from Toronto to Peterborough, and friends of mine were importing stuff from Mexico, Central America, like a lot of leather wear, and so I started buying hides and I worked with leather. But another friend of mine started the first rag recycling vintage business in Toronto called the Farmers Rag Market down on Wellington Street in 1970, and I got interested in this kind of stuff, and I started carrying a combination of the leather goods and the used vintage in Peterborough, where I was for 2.5 years until I sold that business. And I moved to Peterborough just to learn how to run a business, because I didn't know how to run a business. And after I sold the business, I decided to move to a bigger city to learn how to run a business in a big city. So I moved to Montreal, there for about 3 years, 2.5, 3 years, and got a great contact in Scranton, Pennsylvania at a rag factory. And the quality of the goods was such that I was able to start wholesaling to other businesses. So I wholesaled to businesses as well as retail, and it was probably 30% of my business was other businesses. Hey there.
Hi there.
How you doing? Because I got this really good contact in Pennsylvania, and I knew how to run a business in a big city, I moved back to Toronto because kids started coming along. And so I moved on to Queen Street in Toronto in 76, 77. I was there for about 10 years, had it in 3 different places. Hey there. In about the mid-80s, I moved to Kensington Market, where I was 4 stores down for 10, 11 years, and I've been here for about 26. And I think this is my 9th or 10th store, and I had one on College a few years ago. I did in tandem with this, which wasn't very good, but I've had stores in Hamilton, which I ran from Toronto, and all over the place. A place like Salvation Army or Goodwill Industries, they get so much stuff donated, they can only retail about 30% of what they get donated. What they do is with the 70% they don't look at, they just bale it, and they sell it to the big rag recycling factories, which used to be called wiper cloth factories. These wiper cloth factories will turn about 5 to 10% of their product into rags for cleaning purposes. Paint and automobile industries use a tremendous amount of rags for cleaning purposes, but most of their business since 1970 has been the container shipment business. They ship good quality used clothes all around the world, different countries. And Toronto is the world's capital for used vintage clothing. The reason we are a bigger port of departure than New York City or Los Angeles is that we have large immigrant groups from every country around the world. So if you are doing an import-export business, if you have relatives back in your home country, that's what's important. And this is why, like the raw product that the big recycling factories get is available in Toronto because we have free trade with the United States. So all of North America is one big market. But here in Toronto, unlike any city in the entire world, except for maybe London, England, we have large immigrant groups from every country around the world. So that's why the import-export business thrives here, this kind of stuff. I sell to a lot of people that know about fashion, but I personally, for me, it's more of a product. And I like the really old stuff. But if it's fashionable, I wouldn't know. It's sort of things go in and out of fashion, and I wouldn't know until somebody told me. Yeah, I don't follow that, but I sell to a lot of individuals and also to a lot of businesses that are quite concerned about that.
Well, while I'm here, I'm going to phone him because I have.
Shoney's Clothing, 222 Augusta in Kensington Market.